What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So Michigan State basketball goes on the road to College Park, Maryland, gets a big time 58-55 win against a top 20 opponent, number 16 Maryland, in a tough environment on the road on a Tre Holloman half-court game winner. Now, this was a game in which offense was definitely at a premium, picked up a little bit in the second half, but still, this was mainly a grinded out defensive battle between two of the top teams in the conference. Now, we're going to jump into this game here for Michigan State and get into the recap. But before we do, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there. More Michigan State basketball content on the channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. So as we do, we're going to start out with Maryland. And as we talked about, it was mainly going to be their starting five. That's how it's been all year. Don't have a whole lot of depth. Don't play a whole lot of people. Obviously, the complete opposite for Michigan State. They kept showing the graphic during the game how Maryland's starting five was the top scoring team in the league. Michigan State starting lineup, the last scoring team in the league. And then you flip it, Maryland's bench, last in the conference in scoring. Michigan State first in terms of bench points scoring in the conference. So that was the story all game, and that's how it played out. For Maryland, Rodney Rice had a really good game for them. 20 points on 6 for 12 shooting, 4 for 8 from 3. Really got it going there. Jacoby Gillespie as well. Got it going for them, 15 points, 11-11 from the free throw line, though. Absolutely insane. He was getting to the free throw line at will, but for the most part, held Derek Queen. I mean, 10 and 10, like, yeah, that's impressive, but overall, you couldn't really feel him for a lot of this game in terms of offensively, at least, you know, what we've seen throughout his whole freshman season campaign to this point. And then holding Julian Reese to 4 points, 7 rebounds. That was absolutely incredible. 2 for 7 overall. Really made him inefficient on the offensive end. I mean, a lot of the game was inefficient for the most part for both of these squads. But Selton Miguel had a couple nice moments for them, but 6 points. He was in foul trouble a little bit. Finished the game with 4 fouls. But off the bench, 3 players played. None of them scored. And only a couple stats to be recorded. You know, 4 rebounds, 5 rebounds here. But, you know, besides that, Michigan State able to hold a really good offensive Maryland team to 55 points on the night, keep them to 33 rebounds, 81% from the free throw line, 20% from 3, 31% from the field. I mean, this Michigan State defense is real. They've been ranked top 15 in the country for a good amount of this season, and this is why. Defense travels, you always hear about that. Defense travels here on the road in the Big Ten to get a top 20 road victory. Now, we flip it over to Michigan State, and you know, it was a struggle, as we said, in the first half. Only 21 points in the first half. Turned it around with 37 in the second half. Maryland picked up their scoring as well as the game went on. But overall for Michigan State, in terms of the starting lineup, I mean, Jaden Aiken still struggling from the field, as we've seen a lot of this team for the whole year. He finishes with 5, 3 rebounds. Simone Zapala had some really nice moments, finished with 7 points, 6 rebounds on the night, had a couple really big dunks as well, 3 for 4 from the free throw line. Not even just dunks, nice finishes around the basket for those 7 points. 3 points, 8 rebounds for Jackson Kohler. Carson Cooper in 22 minutes, only 2 points, but he got his 5 rebounds. And as we said, the bigs as a whole did a good job, especially Julian Reese, but even Derek Queen, you know, to an extent, you know, both of them, you know, especially Derek Queen, you know, got his numbers for the most part, but as you said, it wasn't loud. You couldn't, you know, feel it a lot. Running out the starting lineup, Jeremy Fears, 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals on the night. Only 1 assist, which is kind of surprising, you know, for Jeremy here. He did have 3 turnovers, you know, but at times I thought he played pretty good in the first half, but, you know, kind of in the second half, you know, we've seen him get up. He was 2 for 7 from the field, and he was 1 for 1 from 3. It was a big shot late, kind of similar to what we saw at Michigan. They were playing kind of the same defense Illinois played, Michigan played. You know, they were really daring him to score. And, you know, he did miss a handful of those shots, but I like how aggressive he was because we're going to need that, you know, going forward the rest of the season if we want to win a Big Ten banner and going forward into the Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament. He's going to need to hit those shots. You know, we've kind of talked about it when they're playing that defense. If he can get that floater going and then occasionally, you know, hit a 3-pointer a game or, you know, occasionally have, you know, like Michigan, a 2 3-pointer, you know, 2 for 3, say, from 3 or, you know, something like that. We don't want a high volume as a team. You know, we don't want a high volume. So, you know, a solid performance from Jeremy Fears aside from the turnovers. Off the bench, Frankie Fiddler, I thought had some pretty good minutes, 5 points, on the night. Cohen Carr, 4 points, balanced scoring. Xavier Booker, I thought, had some really good minutes. He had a couple minute stretch where, maybe defensively things weren't going well, but overall finishing, he had a 3-pointer made and had 4 rebounds, and that was something we talked about. He'd been out there and he had been recording, he'd maybe hit a 3 or a bucket, but he'd been getting 1 rebound. No rebounds. I thought he was aggressive on the glass in his 14 minutes. And then the 2 guys we need to talk about. First, Jace Richardson to round out the starting lineup. 34 minutes. That might be the most of any Spartan has played this year. But he was, in 34 minutes, 6 for 14 from the field, 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Did not hit a 3-pointer, though, 0 for 3 there. 15 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 turnovers on the road in a big-time environment. That's, through these games, looking through just him being able to control everything and not turn the ball over with, kind of, especially him being kind of the go-to guy. I'd say him and Jaden Akins are still kind of like, hey, you need a bucket. We're giving the ball to these two. But, especially now, 34 minutes as a freshman in a big-time road environment like this, 0 turnovers, that's huge. You absolutely love to see that, and another big-time game for Jace, and he really kept us in it. Started the game 3 for 3 from the field, and, kept it up throughout the rest of the game. Had the most shots on the team again. Tre Holloman had 12. We'll get to him in a second, but besides those 2, no one hit double digits. Jaden Akins had 9, but everyone else was around, 7, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4. So incredibly high volume for Jace Richardson again, and he continues to deliver. And then the man of the night, Tre Holloman. In 20 minutes, he did have a little bit of foul trouble, finished the night with 4 fouls. And then if you just look at the stat line, 9 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, had a steal and a block, 3 for 12 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. But that 1 3-pointer, half quarter to win the game. And if you happen to remember, a couple years ago, Cassius Winston hit a half-court buzzer beater going to halftime, so it was going the other way. But this one, to win the game, Tre Holloman hits the half quarter to win the game, and, his defense as well. I mean, yes, the half quarter to win the game, obviously that's going to be the most talked about, but his defense, the team defense as a whole, but Tre Holloman, the individual defense that he had, on their guards and wings down the stretch when he, had that matchup was absolutely incredible to watch. If he doesn't make an all Big Ten defensive team, there's something wrong with everyone's list. I don't know what to tell you. If you've watched him play at all this year, he deserves to be on a Big Ten all-defensive list. But looking at it as a whole, Michigan State, 34% from the field, but you hold Maryland to 31%. That'll work. 4 for 15 from three-point range. What do we always talk about? Or what have we talked about as a good recipe for success for Michigan State? 4 to 7 3-pointers made and about 14-ish 3-pointers attempted. 4 for 15 falls right in line there. 10 for 12 from the free throw line. We'll take it. Free throw percentage looks 83%, but, that short of a sample size there. 45 rebounds, absolutely dominating the glass compared to 33 for Maryland on the night. Stayed at 12 turnovers. Again, you go into the half at 9, finish the game at 12. It's just turning it on in the second half, defensively, executing offensively, hanging on to the ball, not turning it over. Big again in the second half in terms of that category. Fast break points, 11. Middle of the pack, kind of from where they are. They're usually up, 16, 18 towards that. But, 11 still solid on the night. 28 points in the paint compared to 16 for Maryland. Another big key for Michigan State. Now, Michigan State, as we said, this puts them a half a game now ahead of that school down the road, Michigan, for first place in the Big Ten. Obviously, they have the head-to-head, so if they were to tie, they have the head-to-head right now. Obviously, we have the matchup coming up at the end of the year. But now for Michigan State, you have 3 games to close the season. You have Sunday at home against Wisconsin, 1:30, big game in the Breslin Center. And then next Thursday, you got to travel to Carver Hawkeye and Iowa and play at 8 o'clock there on Thursday. And then you close it out on Senior Day against that school down the road, again in a rematch at 12 o'clock next Sunday. So, as we talked about many times, not an easy finish here for Michigan State, but it's coming fast. Michigan State still right there in the thick of the Big Ten title race to hang a banner, and the games don't get easier though. So, incredible night, incredible shot by Tre Holloman, incredible night from Jace Richardson, the whole team, incredible defense, incredible night all around to be a Michigan State Spartan now. Get a couple days rest here before we go into another big-time top 15 matchup here in the Breslin Center. Should be an incredible atmosphere. You know we'll be back to preview that one. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.